Alright, let's use this video to do a couple of things that are gonna get us more familiar with controller and view communication. First of all, I'm gonna clean up this user that we created a couple of videos back, because that's just weird that we have a to-do controller and it's rendering a user.profile, right? So I'm also gonna clean up the welcome that came with Adonis. And in the to-do controller, I'm no longer gonna render the user profile, but I'm just gonna render home, okay? And for now, no data is going to be passed. Then in my routes file, I'm just going to pull off these routes right here. I'll just have one route, and this is going to be the home route that points to do controller. So I'm going to change this to index so that it makes more sense. So this function is going to be called index like that. And if I head over to my application, visit the home page, yeah, we have the home view. In our routes file, we have the home page. When you visit that, it takes you to todocontroller.index, and todocontroller index method simply returns the view home. Alright, so what do I want us to do in this video? I want us to mimic an MVC workflow, which means a user visits this route, we direct him to this controller, the controller fetches some data from the database, which we haven't touched yet, and then returns that data to the view, and the view displays it. So at this point, we fetch some data, but we've not done that yet. So we're going to simply define an arbitrary array that we're going to use. So constant to this is equal to an array. I'm going to paste in some dummy data I set up behind the scenes there. And then we're going to share this data with the view, which means we are going to pass in a second parameter, which is an object, and we'll pass in to those. So if we head over to that view right now, we can have access to an array. I'm going to create an unordered list, and in here I'm going to have an each directive and each. And what this helps us do is actually go through each and every element of an array. So say you passed an array to the view. This is how Edge handles it. So it can be an array, it can be an object. In this case, we're handling an array, and we're going to say each to do in to dos, and we specify what we want to do with each to do right here. And in this case, we're just going to have an li tag, and we'll print out the to do. Okay, so maybe we would have called that something better. Okay, so something like text, so that it's going to actually sound better. So right here, we're going to say to do.text. Okay, so we have an each directive, and this each directive helps us loop through an array or an object. So in this case, an array, and this array was passed from our controller, right? So when we pass in this array, we can loop through by saying to do in to dos, just like a for in loop in JavaScript, or a for loop. Then for each of those to dos, we're gonna get the to do.text, and we're gonna print it in an li tag. Okay, so if we refresh this right now, we have buy some vegetables, complete online course assignments, and make some Chinese tea. Alright, so just like that, we can actually get some data and then pass it to our views. In real world, maybe this data is going to be coming from your database or from an API, but this workflow is almost going to be exactly the same. So why don't we make things a little spicy by actually improving on the UI? I'm going to copy the CSS link right here, and if I come back to my app, I can just paste the li tag right there, right? So if I refresh, yeah, sure, we can see that difference, meaning Bootstrap was just included. Now, what if you wanted to include your own CSS file? Adonis just provides us with a very easy function that we can use to do that. We have a CSS function, and all we need to do is pass in the URL to the CSS file, and automatically Adonis is going to generate the link tags right here and print that for us. This looks a little neater, and same thing applies. If your CSS file was in the public directory, then you're just gonna have CSS style.css right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh to see if this changes anything. Great, and it doesn't, meaning a CSS file is successfully being included. We also have a script function in case you wanted to include a script right here. Then you're just gonna put in the link to the script, and we're going to be seeing more of these functions as time goes on. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. See you in the very next lesson.